It's time for Kearney Live. Today on Kearney Live, we're talking to Ray Weikal from the Kearney School District, Beau Walker from Edward Jones. Plus, we've got Laurence Gration from the Kearney Enrichment Council. Now, here are Jim Dickerson, Stacy Bratcher, and Nick Vasquez.
And hello and welcome to a new edition of Kearney Live. It's 2025 and we have a new format as well as a new year. I'd like to welcome back Stacy Bratcher to the show. We have a new addition this year in Nick Vasquez. Welcome, Nick. Good to see you.
Glad to be here. Thanks.
For those of you who are missing him, and if you have not heard, Lynn Broughton has moved away, which means I successfully was able to chase him out of the city. He has moved back to his hometown. He got taken back to Cleveland, where they needed him to put together a new car of some sort. I forget what it was. Anyway, good luck to Lynn. Had a lot of fun with you over the few years, but Nick is now here, so all is well. Everybody can relax. So coming up, we're going to talk a lot more about Northland activities, more specific to Kearney to the degree we can. And we're going to start off, we're going to talk a little bit about elections. Now, there's some new elections. The filing window is closing, or has closed. Yep. And voters are going to return to the polls, and there's going to be a number of incumbents, but there's also going to be a number of challengers. Now, within the city council, there's some familiar names coming back. Jerry Spencer is going to be running again. She'll be running unopposed. And then also another familiar name to Kearney residents in Dan Holt. So it'll be good to see them back in the running for the city government. And then there's some changes coming up on the school board.
Yeah, for the Kearney School District, the school board, we've got 2 seats. Christina Lindsay, Michael Joe Hickey, Justin Cook, and Jason Clint have filed as candidates. So election day for these candidates is April 8th of 2025.
There we go.
Excellent. Very good. So we're talking about school board members, and let's talk a little bit about what goes on in the school district.
Well, Jim, I've got Ray Weikal here. He's going to come up first to talk about a recent survey conducted by the Kearney School District. Stay tuned.
Explore a place to visit. Explore knowledge. Explore fun. Explore relaxation. Explore adventure. Explore a hometown. Explore Kearney, Missouri.
Welcome back to Kearney Live. Last year, the Kearney School District put out a survey to the community to ask about responsive leadership and community engagement within the district. Ray Weikal, Communications Director, is here now to tell us about some of those results. Welcome, Ray. We're glad you're here.
I appreciate
Thanks
being
for
here.
coming,
Thanks
man.
for asking me to be here. This is great.
Love it.
And hello to the community.
Yeah. I love what you say about yourself. You say that you are a communications professional focused on getting the right message to the right people through the right medium at the right time.
That's a lot of rights.
Yeah, sounds like you're the guy for the job. So before we really dig into it, give us just kind of a broad view, broad strokes of kind of what your position is, what it looks like, and some of the responsibilities. So we have some context.
Sure. I think so. The easiest way of describing it is if it involves having to communicate almost anything, it's probably crossing my desk in some way, shape, or form, right? On some level. That's pretty simplistic. Now, in terms of the actual work, I'm in charge of the websites. I'm in charge of all of our social media communications. Any district level communications are going to be primarily my responsibility. Any kind of public initiatives, public engagement processes that we're going to go through, that's going to be my responsibility. I do a lot of what I call the work, which would be things like taking pictures at football games and posting them on social media. I really love doing that kind of thing, and I think people appreciate it. It's putting together press releases. It's getting our newsletter put together that we send out every couple of weeks. The magazine that goes out, the quarterly magazine, goes out to thousands of people within our community. That's my responsibility. So just today I put the most recent issue that's going to come out in late February, got that put to bed. So that's a big part of my job. Any kind of crisis communication, don't like crises, but obviously they happen, things happen. So any kind of crisis communication, again, that's going to be my responsibility. There's a lot of executive level work, so I report directly to the superintendent. So a lot of strategic planning, a lot of guidance for her, a lot of working with my fellow cabinet members who are also working at that executive level in terms of bringing that communications expertise and that perspective to the table when we're having conversations about the kind of big rocks that we're trying to address. Again, that's my responsibility. I try to provide a lot of support for our staff, particularly I would say our principals, our administrators. You know, when things are coming up and there's an opportunity for me to kind of lighten that load for them, I'm going to be there. I'm going to try to be there for them and provide that support. So
You've got a lot of things happening.
there's a
all
lot
at
of
the same
different
time.
there's a lot of different things, which
moving
is good.
parts.
I managed to land in a career that kind of fits my desire to be doing a lot of different things. I have a hard time focusing sometimes. So this is a good job for that because there's always something new happening.
Always something.
Yeah.
Well, let's start by learning more. Tell us about that recent survey and the results that were conducted by the school district, what that looks like, and some of the main takeaways.
Sure. So one of the things we do is every year we have our big annual survey where we ask our stakeholders. So this would be, we send this out to staff, we send it out to students, parents and guardians, community members, and we have a whole bunch of different things that we ask them. Some of it's sort of compliance stuff because the state expects us to ask these things so that we can show that we're doing the work that we're supposed to be doing. But some of the things are just things we think are important because we want to find out, are we in fact doing the job that we're supposed to be doing for them, right? Because baseline, we provide a service, right? The community invests in the service that we provide, and we need to know whether we're doing that job or not, right?
Now, does everybody get the survey? Everybody
So,
have an opportunity
as
to
many
do that?
people as we possibly can,
Okay.
I would say.
All right.
Certainly all staff, all students, all parents, guardians.
Anybody who's directly connected, and then
are-
beyond that, how
Beyond
do
that, we have various methods that we use to get outside of what I call our bubble.
Yeah, absolutely.
So this would be reaching out through, again, social media is obviously, very popular. So Facebook, Instagram, X. Then, we have different mailing lists and things like that. There's different opportunities to sign up. Obviously, I encourage folks to go to our website, www.ksdr1.net, and there's a button at the top that says Engage with KSD. You can click on that. You can find out how to get signed up for our newsletters and our updates and things like that, different ways of engaging with the district. So
now part of that was asking the community specifically about funding and about how spending is tracked and communicated. So can you kind of talk a little bit about that and maybe even cover like the primary sources of funding and how it may not be as simple as folks might think it is?
Yeah. So public education funding is always a challenge to try to communicate. And I know this from way back, even from my first career as a newspaper reporter, and I ended up really specializing not just in public services, but in public education specifically. And so, even as a reporter, it was always a challenge to try to explain school finance. It was a challenge to explain school finance to me. And so. That continues to be a challenge. So in our world, in the way public school finance is set up in Missouri, and it varies from state to state a lot. So I came from Iowa, where I was a reporter for a long time. school funding mechanism there is very different than it is in Missouri. In Missouri, the overwhelming onus, for lack of a better term, is placed on the local taxpayers, local property taxpayers. So this would be if you own a home, if you own a business property, commercial property, ag property, those local property owners, most of our, and I'm going to pull this out at the top of my head, so please don't quote me on this. This is an estimate, but I'm going to say more or less about 70% of our budget, of our revenue, comes from local property tax owners, right? Property taxpayers, sorry. Then maybe about 20%, more or less, comes from the state, and then we get the remainder from more or less from the feds, from the federal sources.
So we've got these buckets, we've got the
Right.
money, right? And so then I think the question is, and maybe beyond that, once you have an understanding of that, the question behind the question becomes, how does the district ensure financial accountability, the transparency in managing those funds? What is that? I think that's really the heart of probably what that was getting at. So speak to that.
Yeah, well, so there's several different ways, and the first thing I want to talk about is something you know well, which is we have an elected Board of Education.
That's right.
AKA our school board, and one of the most important jobs of being a school board member is to keep the professional staff accountable for managing that money in a way that is responsible, in a way that, again, meets the needs of the community, and, just making sure that we're doing what we need to be doing, right? And using it in correct and right ways that are addressing the needs of our students and our staff and our parents and all that, right? So that's a big part of it, is we do a lot of reporting to our board, as we should be, right? And so part of what you guys do as school board members is you're looking at that budget and you're making sure, again, that
And everyone has access to those meetings.
right.
Not normally highly attended.
Right.
But we do.
Sure. Yeah.
But the opportunity is there, right?
Every
to be
meeting
there.
is, and it's
it's
broadcast.
public.
You can be there in public. You can also follow it on our live stream
Yes.
on YouTube. And again, that information is all available on our website at ksdr1.net. We have a lot of internal systems for making sure that we're holding ourselves accountable. We do an annual audit that's very rigorous, very thorough, takes several weeks, I think. I'm not in that department, but my impression is it takes a while, because they really are going into great detail about again, where are we getting our money? How are we spending our money? But almost more importantly, what is the process of that, right? Are we using best practices? Are we accounting for things in a way that is transparent? And are we doing what we promised to do with those resources?
So with everything you're seeing, all the worlds you're in, all the spots you're in, really you have a great vantage point to see. I want to hear what you think. What are the challenges you think the school district is facing, when it comes to balancing the budget, especially when you have some difficult economic times? What does that look like? How do we do that?
Yeah. So what I'll say is that in Kearney School District, we historically and continue to be very well financially managed. We have a team of folks that are really focused on making sure that we are not being irresponsible with how we use our resources. I would use the term conservative, financially conservative, right? I think that by all measures, we as a district, we go to great lengths to make sure that we really understand what is important, right? The answer to your question really goes back to our strategic plan, right? One of the things when our new superintendent came on board, I say new, she's actually been here for a while now, but Dr. Emily Miller, we went through a strategic planning process, and I think as a community, it was a community-wide effort. And as a community, we identified some big rocks that we need to address around making sure that our students are supported, making sure that our community, our stakeholders are heard and we are being responsive to them, good customer service, right? I mean, this is something I talk a lot about within the district with my colleagues is we're public servants, right? That's what we are. So the word there is servant, right? We are there to serve, you know?
Yes, so with that then, like that's the whole thing. So we gather the data, we have the information, we have this, and even like you said, even just trying to brush the top of what school finance looks like in those processes, it can at times seem overwhelming.
Right.
So you're in a perfect spot. Like what are the next steps? How are we going to foster that culture of financial literacy, both to the staff and the bubble, as you said, but then beyond that as well?
Right. Well, you know, I think like all big kind of initiatives, there's a lot of different answers to that. There's no one method that works for everything, right? So we have to take a multifaceted approach to any kind of engagement around these types of things. So in terms of the financial literacy, you know, I do think a big part of the job of the school board is helping to, you know, share that message, right? As you know, people that are duly elected public servants, you know, I think part of the job is, you know, we have to help you and your fellow school board members when you are out talking to your constituents, be able to provide that information, provide accurate information in a way that makes sense, right? That's my job, is to help equip you to do that, right? So that's one answer. We have things like, we have committees. We have things like our budget and salary committee, right? And so one of the things we're doing with them is we're constantly updating them around, you know, here are some factors you need to be thinking about. Here are important things that are happening in terms of maybe, you know, proposed bills in Jefferson City at the state capitol, you know, and issues like that. Like, you know, here are things to keep in mind. So we're constantly updating the folks that are involved in those processes and kind of like, here's what we're forecasting, here's what you need to keep in mind. And then we're gathering together and we're having those conversations where we're making tough decisions. Again, it's not about wants, it's about needs, right? We're constantly talking about what are the most important things, how do we meet those needs, not about wants, right? You know, Kearney
And it's
School
kind of
District.
finding the balance of the emotion and the objectivity.
Right.
We want the best, we want things.
Right.
And I think that's most folks connected to the school district have the giving, the servant hearts. At the same time, there's only a finite amount of energy, of money, of dollars, and bridging that, connecting that.
I think that one of the things that Dr. Miller does a really good job of is creating a culture of excellence means that you are, again, focused on what do we need, right? When you are doing that, when you're really focused on these are the most important things, and here's how we're going to accomplish those things, you'll have excellence, you'll have greatness, right? Just because being in a district, being in an organization where you're constantly we're going to just do whatever we want, like, I don't know that you're actually achieving excellence like that. I would suggest that actually, you know, being compelled to really understand this is what we need, these are the most important things, that's how you're going to really achieve
It's
excellence.
realizing that the movement isn't necessarily progress. Just because we're doing a lot and it looks good doesn't mean we're actually achieving our goals and getting to where we want to be.
That is absolutely true. Yeah, and then, you know, to continue, just to add on to what you asked earlier about how do we continue to sort of educate our stakeholders around this process. One of the things that Dr. Miller does on a regular basis, and she's so good at this, is engage with our staff, again, on a really personal level. So she'll go to schools and she'll visit with each of those school teams. And one of the things she'll do is provide information about, you know, here's the reality of the resources we have. Here are our big rocks. So this is how we're going to be utilizing, you know, the resources that we have.
Well, thanks for being here, and most importantly, thank you for the work you're doing and the path you're taking for the school district.
And
We really
before you
appreciate it.
go, is there any big changes coming we should know about?
Any big secrets to tell us?
Anybody leaving?
So, well, I don't at this point. I don't think it's a big secret. There've been some things that the school board has already addressed in their business. We have our assistant superintendent for academic services, Jennifer Kopp. She's has decided to retire and move on to the next stage of her life. She's been with us for a long time and has done amazing work and is a big reason why Kearney School District is what it is. And then
I was thinking in terms of the sporting area.
Sure. I was
sporting.
I was getting there. So yes, the other person is David Schwarzenbach, who's our activities director, has also announced that he is going to be retiring and moving on to the next stage of his life, and obviously he'll be somebody. Both of them are going to be individuals that it will be greatly missed, and at the same time we're looking forward to moving forward with whoever those folks are that move into.
See, that's the problem with success, though. You guys are so successful, people become now a big commodity, and everybody wants them.
Well, certainly, both in the case of both of these individuals, they've certainly put in the time, and I think they've earned maybe some rest, is what I would say.
That's right.
Absolutely.
Thanks for joining us.
This is a pleasure. I really, really appreciate the opportunity to talk to you guys about this.
Thanks.
This is great. You guys do great work, and I love being able to partner with you guys to get this information out.
Thanks, Ray.
Yeah,
Thanks, Ray.
Coming up next, 2025, it's a new year, new president, new economy, always new ways to invest. Beau Walker joins us next. Stay with us.
Kearney Trust Company is your local bank offering personalized financial services with a focus on what matters to you. From checking and savings accounts to home loans and retirement planning, they're here to help you achieve your financial goals. Kearney Trust Company is a partner for success with 2 locations in Kearney at 310 West 92 Highway and 701 Watson Drive in Price Chopper. 816-628-6666 or kearneytrust.com. Kearney Trust Company, banking you can trust, member FDIC.
At Kearney Family Chiropractic Center, they believe that your health starts with your spine. Using gentle, effective chiropractic care, they focus on restoring balance to your body and improving your overall well-being. Kearney Family Chiropractic Center is taking appointments now at 816-628-6738. The office is located at 301 South Platte Clay Way, Suite B in Kearney, and their website is kearneyfamilychiro.com. Experience the power of wellness at Kearney Family Chiropractic Center.
Platte Clay Electric Cooperative is more than just your energy provider. They're your neighbors, too. For over 85 years, they've been powering homes, businesses, and communities in the Northland with reliable, affordable electricity. As a cooperative, they're owned by you, the members. That means every decision they make is focused on serving your needs, not profits. From maintaining safe and efficient power lines to offering energy-saving tips, they're here to support you every step of the way. Platte Clay Electric Cooperative, empowering communities and energizing life with safe and reliable energy.
And welcome back. It's 2025. It's a brand new year. We have a new governor. We have a new president. All new economic things taking place. So what a good time to talk about investing. And joining us now today is Beau Walker from Edward Jones. Beau, thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me.
I think let's get started. It'd be a good time. Let's just talk, first of all, basically as an investment firm, Edward Jones, what is it you guys do?
Yeah, so Edward Jones, surprisingly, I've been around over 100 years now. And what we do is we help align people's dollars with their dreams. So oftentimes what that looks like is people will have questions around, is what I'm doing today, meaning my investments, the dollars that I'm putting away towards the future, is that going to be enough? And will that last me through retirement? So oftentimes it looks like that. We do a lot of other investment things as well. Think college savings plans, think debt mitigation strategies. So do a lot.
So let's talk about that just for a minute. Let's talk about the investment. A lot of people watch TV, they get excited. I want to jump in the stock market and I see it's up 700 points and I want to get rich tomorrow. But if you, for the true investor, I think you're looking more long term. So is that what you guys talk a lot about, is not where am I today, but where am I going to be when I'm 65? Yeah,
and the way that I try to think about that is the long-term serious investor. So the person that isn't necessarily trying to time the market, but a person that sees value in time in the market. So not necessarily looking for the exciting thing that may be happening, spur of the moment, things that they may see on the TV from day to day that you referred to. So we're looking more serious long-term investments.
And so what about if you have an investor, so we'll go back to me, using me as an example. When I was 21 years old, met with an investor, and they were like, well, when you're 65, 70 years old, here's where you'll be, you'll have this much money. But at that time, those ages didn't even seem, my grandparents are that age, that I'll never be that old. Sadly, as we get closer to that, what advice do you have for the investor? Let's say they're turning 35, 40 years old, and now they realize, I need to do something because I haven't done it so far.
Yeah, great question. And, as part of what I like to do, the passion behind this is catching people around that age, even younger, right? Because you can really change the course of their financial future. So if I'm 35 to 40, I'm thinking, I want to sit down with a financial advisor. I want to sit down with them. I want to discuss what I'm doing today, what I should be doing, and I would have that mapped out. I would have everything mapped out to how am I going to pay off certain debts. A lot of people in that age group would have a college loan that they need to pay off, their mortgage, things like that as well. So if I'm that age, I'm thinking getting rid of the debt and also figuring out the investment side too.
And I know there's a large segment of the population who probably thinks that investments like you do is set aside for the millionaire or the person who makes 300, 400,000 a year, but it doesn't really matter. You should be investing for your future no matter what you do. So let's say I'm a person who works at a job that the income isn't that great. Is there an investment strategy for me so I can help myself out in the future?
Absolutely, absolutely, and that's what's key to the type of investment style that we're talking about. Again, going back to the time in the market, right? So, not necessarily that you need to have a high income to reach the goals, right? It's having that strategy in place and being disciplined. We call it dollar cost averaging, right? Putting money consistently in and investing it appropriately towards your goals. Well, then income becomes kind of relative, right? It's like, what do you want to have in the future? Well, you can decide that, but what your income is now, I see people all over the board, whether they make tons of money and don't invest anything or make a little and invest something. I think it's important, whoever you are, whatever your income is, do something.
Yeah, that's good advice. One thing that would help people understand too, so if you watch TV and you watch the stock market, you'll see, I'll use one, NVIDIA is up or this.
Sure.
So you don't do the type of investing where, I'm going to watch the TV every day or I even need to, and then I see that, United Airlines is going to go up. I'm not going to call you and say, buy 700 shares. Right. If you watch the movie Wall Street from 1977 or whatever that was, I just dated myself a little bit.
That's the year I was born. Actually.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I was watching the movie at that point, but so they, I'm buying Blue Star Airlines, and but that isn't what you do. But what kind of investments do you guys do as a general rule?
Yeah, as a general rule, it's about looking for investments that have a good history, right? So That's companies that have a good history. Diversification is a huge part, right? So don't put all your eggs in one basket, right? So that could be a lot of different things, right? But the important part that I would emphasize there is diversification in your financial strategy is huge. So diversified across, United States, international, stocks, bonds, that sort of thing. But diversification's big.
And what's the difference between, for those who don't know, say a stock option,
Sure,
as opposed to a bond, which is two totally different things, but some people would like to know the difference.
No, great question. Yeah, because I see it every day. And so stock, it's ownership in a company, right? And so those companies, as they grow, depending on the style, you either participate in that growth or the dividends, right? So, but it's ownership in a company. And then bonds would be more like a fixed income. Think like, if somebody's building a new school, they'll issue bonds, right?
Correct.
And then you can participate in some of that, loan them your money, they pay you some interest.
And so, how would you recommend? Well, I guess the first question: at what age? I know the answer. I want to hear it out loud.
Yeah.
At what age would you recommend someone says, "I need to do something. I need to call Beau Walker." You like that? And then,
thanks.
What age is a good age to do that?
Now, it just is, right? And because finances, they touch at all of us, every part of our body. I think all of us, in general, have the same ambitions. We want to make sure that we're going to have enough to survive. We think about loved ones. We want to take care of them. So not to create a sense of urgency, that's not my point, but truly, sooner the better, right? It's just like working out. When's the best time to go to the gym? Probably not January 1st, because
it wasn't yesterday.
Right? Yeah. But start soon and keep doing it, because the more you work out, right, you start seeing the benefits. Investing's the same.
And you used a term that I'm not familiar with, the gym.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
No, go ahead.
Well, back to what you were just saying about today is the best day to get started.
Mm-hmm.
What would you say to people who maybe they didn't know about this, maybe they put it off, now they're in their, like Jim said, 30s or 40s, and now they're feeling regret for not knowing or not having started. What do you say to them to maybe help them feel a little bit better about that?
Sure. First off, I think I'd say directly, don't feel regretful, right? But now that you see this and hear this, right? Because a lot of regret, I think, is stemmed from maybe ignorance. Some of us just didn't know.
Right.
Like, I wasn't raised in a family where they were telling me, do this. Just was my reality, right?
Exactly.
So, but now you know. And what can you do about it? Well, you can sit down with somebody and say, here's where I am, okay? I would like to get to somewhere else. What are some strategies we could deploy? So I wouldn't have any sense of regret. Likewise, I wouldn't have a sense of anxiety. I would actually be excited just to get going and saying, you know what, great, I'm getting this going. I'm going to be able to achieve some of my goals and my dreams. And back to what you asked earlier, today's the best day.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
And so you have some strategies, I'm sure, and I think a lot of people might be interested in. So when I went to college, again, dating myself here, I think for a semester may have been $8,000 to $10,000. It was not that much. Now, I know some places it can be up to like $60,000 a semester.
Yeah.
So you take that times 8 if you do 8 semesters. I can't even imagine that. No. Do you guys have strategies in place where someone can invest now to help, if not pay it all, but at least defray some of that cost into college, assuming your kid doesn't get the D1 scholarship to play baseball for the New York Yankees or whatever?
Yeah. Yeah, education the cost is mind-boggling.
Yes.
When you threw out those numbers, those are real numbers, right? And what does the average household, can they do that, right? And so oftentimes, again, it comes back to the earlier you start planning. I have 2 kids, 15 and 13, that it's getting close, right? And so for my wife and I, just putting a little bit what we can afford, right? A little bit away every month in college for them, having it invested appropriately towards what we think their tuition costs would be, in hopes of paying for some of it. Come on, scholarships, right? But yeah, we definitely start working through some of those strategies and have conversations of, is your kid going to go to college? Is your kid a genius? Okay, well, really, I'll ask that question. Are they going to get a full ride, in-state or out-of-state? And really start drilling down on what those costs are going to be. And in understanding that, then we can deploy strategies that are going to hopefully take some of that financial sting out later on down the road.
And quick question, and some people might ask, don't write letters if you don't agree with this, but there has been a push where some people are starting to question the importance of college.
Yeah.
You know, so college is a big deal now. We all
What's
know
the
that
necessity of
exactly. What's the necessity of college? I have my own opinions about that, but we'll leave that where it is. But the fact of the matter is, one thing we know is that over time, everything changes.
Yeah.
So what's popular today may not be popular tomorrow. If you were investing for college through one of your programs, and you decide all of a sudden, or your child decides, I don't need college, or I invented the new Velcro or something like that, or a non-nutritive cereal varnish that works. If they did that and didn't go to college, is there a way to reallocate those funds?
Yeah, and there's more changes coming, right? But there are, and there are a lot of creative ways to use that. Again, it's going to be dictated by a lot of things, right? But that is a question. It's like, what if my kid doesn't go to college? And here I said, I don't know, you know, maybe 1 out of 2. You know, that's what I'm shooting for. But yeah, and if not, we'll have to figure out what the opportunity will be for them. So, yeah.
Excellent. If I want to get a hold of Beau Walker at Edward Jones, who do I call? How do I get a hold of you?
So my office is right here in Kearney, right over near Price Chopper. My branch partner, her name is Hitomi Patterson. And then so it's she and I in my office. Phone number is 816-903-2005. Give us a call. Love to set up an appointment. I would reiterate and emphasize wherever you are in this process, just thinking about it, you're new to it, veteran investor, doesn't matter. But to sit down and get some value out of a conversation with a financial advisor, I think is well worth somebody's time.
Excellent.
Yep.
Well, thank you very much for coming by. And Stacy, what do you have for us coming up?
Well, Jim, we have with us Laurence Gration with the Kearney Enrichment Council here to tell us about a super fun event that's coming up. You won't want to miss it, so stick with us. We'll be right back.
Kearney Trust Company is your local bank offering personalized financial services with a focus on what matters to you. From checking and savings accounts to home loans and retirement planning, they're here to help you achieve your financial goals. Kearney Trust Company is a partner for success with 2 locations in Kearney at 310 West 92 Highway and 701 Watson Drive in Price Chopper. 816-628-6666 or kearneytrust.com. Kearney Trust Company, banking you can trust, member FDIC.
At Kearney Family Chiropractic Center, they believe that your health starts with your spine. Using gentle, effective chiropractic care, they focus on restoring balance to your body and improving your overall well-being. Kearney Family Chiropractic Center is taking appointments now at 816-628-6738. The office is located at 301 South Platte Clay Way, Suite B in Kearney, and their website is kearneyfamilychiro.com. Experience the power of wellness at Kearney Family Chiropractic Center.
Platte Clay Electric Cooperative is more than just your energy provider. They're your neighbors, too. For over 85 years, they've been powering homes, businesses, and communities in the Northland with reliable, affordable electricity. As a cooperative, they're owned by you, the members. That means every decision they make is focused on serving your needs, not profits. From maintaining safe and efficient power lines to offering energy-saving tips, they're here to support you every step of the way. Flat Clay Electric Cooperative, empowering communities and energizing life with safe and reliable energy.
And welcome back to Kearney Live. The Kearney Enrichment Council has programming for individuals of any age. Through their diverse model, they are able to create and impact a variety of generations. Laurence Gration from the Kearney Enrichment Council is with us today to tell us about a fun event returning to downtown Kansas City. Welcome, Laurence. Kansas City,
yes.
To downtown Kearney,
Yeah,
excuse me. I'm too excited about the Chiefs winning. Welcome, Laurence.
Thank you, Stacey. And yes, I represent Kearney.
Thank you for clarifying. So, Laurence, this sounds like a lot of fun. Could be a girls' night out, could be a couple's date night. We're talking about the Wine and Chocolate Spectacular. I love the rebranding. Tell us a little bit more about it.
On the 8th of February, we are opening up the town of Kearney to people to come in and join us for a glass of wine and some chocolate. Or in fact, it looks like now 16 glasses of wine. We have 16 different pouring stations, including the Chamber of Commerce. And we have VIP pourers, so there are better quality wines than we've had in the past. So we're expecting a spectacular event, that's the name. And I did check the weather this morning, and it looks like it's going to be cold but dry.
Okay.
So it'll be just ideal for drinking some nice red wine.
Oh, red wine? Is
We
that
will
what's
also
on the...
we'll also have white, but there's a couple of sparklings as well.
Oh, sparkling. Okay. Any sweets? Mostly dries?
By particular request, there are. Yes, there will be sweet wine.
Yay.
And you say girls' nights out. It would be a fabulous girls' night out.
Yeah.
But on the other token, getting a bunch of blokes together to sit around and drink some red wine over at Blue Heron or the Chamber's going to have sweet, so it's
nice.
But there are, as I say, 16 places around town that you can explore.
Great.
Go to Good Times and get a haircut while you're having it.
So how do people get from place to, where do they start? How do they get from place to place? Where do they finish?
It all starts with registration at the old firehouse.
Okay.
We're opening registration at 3:30. We're opening the wines at 4, and we are opening the bus service at 4:30.
Okay.
We have the Excelsior Springs trolley being sponsored by Tracy Tucker, so that's a good thing.
Nice.
And we have the 4 little buses from the senior centre.
Oh, wonderful.
We'll be driving around, and you just jump on, jump off. We obviously the old church plaza and Washington Street, easy to walk around, but you can then jump on the bus and go down to the Chamber, go up to the top of the hill to what I'm calling Tractor Supply Plaza,
Right.
which is up where Reju is. Come down the hill a little bit to Price Choppers and to Conrad's plazas.
Okay. Yeah.
Neither of those are participating, but we'll
In
work
that
on
area,
it,
yeah.
Then come back and finish it off with some nice wines back at the old firehouse. And whatever wines you have found, you can buy and take home.
Nice. Okay. Have you gentlemen participated in this before?
Well, I am not a big wine drinker. So if I'm not a wine drinker and I want to drink something else, can I go?
You can go, but I suggest for yourself, wait till August for the whiskey walk.
All right.
Yes, there you go.
Good night, everybody.
So bring Sarah for the wine and chocolate,
Yes.
and then bring Sarah back again, and she can watch you drink whiskey.
And
Although I
drive you-
have a
and
feeling
drive you
Sarah
home.
drinks it
I
too.
mean, I
but
can watch her drink wine and I'll eat chocolate.
there you go.
Yep. Oh, that sounds like a fair deal.
I do suggest not having people jump on and off if alcohol's consumed. You might want to just walk on.
You think we should stop at each?
I would at least give a good stop. Yeah, not just to slow down.
We'll work on that. Yeah.
But it's also a great opportunity for shopping local.
Absolutely. You've got Urban Edge, Lux Exchange, Three Birdies,
Nice.
Roost,
Yes.
and many others that will come to me as soon as we finish talking.
Excellent.
But you did. Where does the wine come from?
From all over the world. It has to be bought from a wholesaler, so a licensed wholesaler. I can't think of the name of them, but one of the biggies in town. I've just ordered some Australian, some New Zealand, some Italian, some Portuguese. So it is from all, and American, of course.
Oh.
Yeah. The fact that I think Australian wine is brilliant, there are quite a few people who think American's pretty good too. So
I'm sure it's the weirdest thing
we're
ever.
catering as widely as we can.
And it's the day before Super Bowl, correct?
It is.
Okay.
Yes,
Do you
so
think
you'll be
that'll affect anything?
I'm hoping it'll bring people out.
There you go.
As a primer to some serious Super Bowl drinking, but it's also you can buy a few bottles and take them home.
True.
Do you have any local wines?
I don't know the immediate answer to that.
Okay, just curious.
So, yeah.
Good question.
I know we have in the past, so yeah.
And besides wine and chocolate and the Whiskey
Whiskey
Walk,
Walk.
what else do you have going on?
We have in March we have the gala, which is the Hollywood Gala theme. It's over at the Annunciation Hall. We're still looking for some celebrities, so if you wanted to look like Errol Flynn or trying to look at the picture, Marilyn Monroe at this end.
I thought you were implying that we were already celebrities. I guess I missed the memo on that
I
one.
didn't realize we were supposed to look like.
Yeah, I thought
somebody,
we just were.
Well, if you'd like to look like somebody, that'd be great.
Okay. Who would you recommend I look like? Not Marilyn Monroe.
There was a suggestion earlier before we switched on the radio, the Three Stooges thing,
Stooges.
but
That I believe.
but I will not perpetuate that. But yes, we have about a dozen events planned already, and as you know, that's in addition to the senior centre has events going on every day, whether it's bingo, bunco,
Dancing.
dancing, live country music on Tuesdays. Spark for the kids has started up again, and we've got the new Spark studio that should be open any day now.
Nice.
Just waiting on final approvals, which will then, for the second half of this year, for the second semester, it will be open 5 days a week for kids to drop in. So yeah, we're reasonably active and looking forward to.
I think you're unreasonably active.
and looking forward to sharing Oktoberfest with the Chamber again.
Yes.
So Magical Nights, which we share with everybody.
Absolutely.
That was my first. The last one was my first Magical Nights, and what an awesome night it was.
Yeah.
So yeah.
It's a good one. Tell us about the Easter extravaganza.
Yes, that's in the planning stages. Yes.
Okay.
Obviously it'll be centred around the old firehouse and Lions Park.
Okay.
And what we're trying to do now is decide how to segregate it for little kids that are after the candy, through
Gotcha.
to gentlemen like those on the bar here that might be searching for little bottles of whiskey or something that the Easter Bunny has left behind.
That's fun.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
We're just trying to work out how to make that happen. So I'll keep you in tune.
So you're fairly new, still in your role.
Yes.
What's your so far? What is your favorite event?
Clearly a magical night. That was just great. It's easy to say the Whiskey Walk because that was my first, and it went so well.
And there was whiskey.
And there was whiskey.
Yeah.
It really is just fun. Like just at the moment, we are looking for a new leader for the Spark programs. So last week I was the leader. Even in doing that, it's just fun. Like the little kids bring a joy with them that we forget when we get this old. So there's a lot going on and it's a lot of fun. It's a good job in a good town. I thought you were going to ask me what's the best part of the job.
Okay,
rather
that
than
too.
the best event.
Sure.
And it really is just meeting all the people. Like you and I see each other every second day.
Yeah.
And Chief Pratt.
Right.
And many others. But so yeah, it's just getting to know the community. I've lived in Kearney for 6 years, but I worked in Kansas City for 5 of those. So being Kearney bound is just, it really is a thrill.
It's a different thing.
I even watched a Bulldogs game.
Which,
Nice.
like, there are many.
Football.
Football. All right. Well,
Didn't understand a second of it, but it was.
oh, that hurts my heart.
No, I have a darling wife that loves the purple. She's a Vikings fan through and through, so she's taught me a lot about football in the 20-odd years we've been together.
So did you watch the Chiefs?
I did. We were screaming at the TV.
But you
Yes.
didn't know what you were screaming at.
Oh, when they were roughing the passer. Whoa.
Yeah.
We attended a Chiefs game last season when they played Denver, and I couldn't get over the fact that there were, I don't know how many it is, 70,000 people there, and most of us were watching the game, but my wife was watching Tay over in the other.
Gotta watch Tay-Tay. Gotta know where she is
Yeah.
at all times.
So for those who have never met you, have never heard your voice before, I'm sure many are wondering, where does that accent come from?
I am a Southerner.
Texas?
A little further south. I'm embarrassed to say I'm even south from Australia, so in the southern part of the mainland. So I was born and raised in Melbourne, Australia, and have been in the US 26 years. I was going to throw in that I've been a citizen for 17, but that's unnecessary.
It's an interesting tidbit. I love that.
If anybody ever stops to see whether I'm illegal.
Did you ever meet Crocodile Dundee?
We actually went to the same college.
Excellent.
And we were on the crocodile wrestling team together.
Nice. Excellent.
He was captain. I was just.
That's why you got the movie.
Well, Laurence, thank you so much for joining us today. It was a pleasure talking to you. And one more time, what's the date and how can people register for Wine and Chocolate?
February 8th, and go to the website, which is KearneyEnrichmentCouncil.org, and tickets are freely available. And as I say, there are VIPs which get a special chocolate and wine basket to go with them. And it's going to be a great night, no matter how cold it is.
Beautiful. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Thanks.
Thank
Cheers.
you. Appreciate it. And stay with us. We'll be back with our final thoughts right after this.
Explore a place to visit. Explore knowledge. Explore fun. Explore relaxation. Explore adventure. Explore a hometown. Explore Kearney, Missouri.
And welcome back. And although many things on this show are different, some things stay the same. And one of the things that stays the same is our final thoughts. And we'll start off with Stacy.
Hello. Okay, my final thought is, believe it or not, it's farmers market season. The farmers market has opened to registration for vendors. But what I really want to tell you about is we have rebranded the market, and instead of it being the Kearney Farmers Market, it is now the Kearney Community Market, because we want it to be inclusive of not only our farmers, but our artisans, buskers, community organizations and businesses, but most importantly, a gathering place for all of our Kearney residents. So be watching for more information about the Kearney Community Market coming up in May.
And that's excellent because Stacy used 4 words I didn't understand there. What's a busker?
A busker is a performer. They perform on the side of the sidewalk for tips or money or whatever.
Of course it is.
You know?
What
Nick?
she said.
What do you got? You got some words I don't understand?
I hope not. I hope not. I'm going to take this moment to wish my son Jackson. It's his 14th birthday. So happy
Wow.
birthday, Jackson. Today's the day. He's excited. Next year, he keeps telling me, Dad, I am 365 days away from driving. He's very excited. He's starting to
Nice.
count down.
Happy
He's
birthday,
very
Jackson.
excited.
So you're going to have to go find an insurance agent here in Kearney, I would imagine.
That's right.
I'm not going to name any names quite yet. Well, I'll stay on the track of birthdays, and it happens to be the birthday of our own Brian Watts.
Woo!
So,
Yay!
Brian, you have been very elusive on this show, so let's go over and talk to Brian for just a second, who's still back in the other room. Brian, there you are.
There he is.
Hi, guys. Thanks for the happy birthday wish.
Excellent.
Happy
and so,
birthday, Brian.
how old are you? 27?
Older than 14.
I'm not saying. Somebody told me yesterday that I was 32, so we're going to go with 32.
All
Oh,
right.
okay.
So I'll ask you this because we didn't have a chance earlier in the beginning of the show. Did you make a New Year's resolution?
I did make a New Year's resolution, and it was to cut back on the eating and stuff. And so I had some labs done, if you want to know all this, and all my numbers are down. So
Hey, good for you.
Oh,
down since December. So.
Good
Excellent.
job.
Yep, thank you.
Work.
excellent.
Nice.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. I thought one of his resolutions might be to get rid of me.
Well,
I'm
there's
here.
always that.
Still here, so got that going for me. Thanks for joining us. Stay with us always in the future for another edition of Kearney Live, and we'll see you next time.